welcome back to Angry Badger Minis. I'm Scott, and we're still working on Space Wolves. I kind of have been working on them a little bit off camera, if you will, mainly because I needed to get some stuff done and I had some time. So we're on our second pack, or the last pack, second and last pack of Long Fangs, and we're about to finish putting those together. So I've already kind of put together the Long Fangs Sergeant, whatever you want to call him, Wolf Pack Leader, something. And I like this wolf helmet. It's really nice. I like the gun, or the bolter, and if I remember correctly, Space Wolves have true grit. So, and of course we wanted the hammer, and it appears to be a two-sided hammer as far as wolf head goes. So we've got two of those guys. You guys did not see me put together my Iron Priest, which I really love this model. I mean, it is amazing. Everything about it to me is amazing, and as you can see, I did the basing. He's got his own little basing part there for his foot, but I kind of covered that up a little bit with some rock, to make it look like, it's just an outcropping, and he's kind of got his foot, on one side of it, because again, we don't want flat all the time. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And then I've outfitted these guys with 2 plasma cannons and 2 las cannons, so we have some more DACA, because we're going to need it probably for this army. And those are quite honestly my favorite heavy weapons next to the heavy bolter. But a heavy multi-melta, stuff like that, I don't know, man. It is what it is. I mean, I guess it's, everyone has their choice, but I need something a little long range, and we'll go from there. But I'm letting these guns dry right here real quick, attaching them, and then it's going to be a pretty simple and quick job to attach the bodies that are remaining here, attach them to their legs, throw the helmets on, shoulder pads, and we will be done with these guys. And we're going to move on to our first wolf pack squad, if I don't just start breaking them all out and getting them all set up like I've done with the Blood Angels and stuff and Templars, which is probably what I'm going to do. The one thing I wanted to point out is you can see here I've got a black helmet next to these gray helmets. That's because it doesn't, these don't come with enough, they don't come with enough helmets for you to put a helmet on every guy. Actually, let me take that back. They do. You got the one wolf helmet. You do have 4 of these. These are like Mark IV helmets, I believe. Maybe Mark III. Either way, there's a beaky helmet in there, and I just don't like it. So I'm not using that. And thankfully, I have enough, bits and everything else around that I can, find what I need. And that's actually what I did here with this guy. It's as you can see, it's not the same color plastic for the head. So, all right. I think we're about, I'm gonna let those dry over there a little bit more, and I do have to put some glue right here. It's amazing how far we've come with these models, considering the old metal plasma cannon ones, which I still, and heavy bolters and everything else that I still have around. But I'm not complaining, not really. Got a little bit of a flashing there. Now these aren't, I've glued these, but they're kind of, in a way, I want to say barely sitting there. And I'm real big on having my weapons level. I know some people don't do that just because. And for these big guns, I do want their heads pointed in the direction of the guns, not pointing the other direction like he's swinging the gun around. I just don't, that part I don't really dig. So Okay, let that one sit there. Man, somehow I missed all this. Must have been in a hurry. Must have been in a hurry about something. Can't tell you what that would have been though. That one seems to want to sit good, so we'll leave those alone. Let's see what we can do here. Putting these bodies inside these las cannons. And if you notice, that's how I'm kind of assembling this. Rather than fighting with all of it, I put the gun together first and then slide the body inside of it. I mean, hopefully I'm not going to have an issue at all, but you never know. You can still have one. Yep, just like that. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I guess it wasn't quite dry enough. Yep, gotta love it. Cause see, the problem is if I go ahead and try to put, you know, this on, I'm not gonna know the appropriate angle, and I'm gonna be fighting the thing the whole time. So that's why I do it that way. Yep, gotta love it. Won't be the first time, or isn't the first time, and it sure won't be the last. That's for sure. Well, looks like this guy's gonna take a little while. So we're going to go ahead and slide these over here, get them out of our way, so we can still do some work. See if I can't reattach this real quick and let it dry, let it try to dry. That was lucky. Alright, I'm just gonna let that sit over there. Give it some more time to bond. I'm gonna go back to these guys. Got their arms here. Alright. Nope. Just wants to fall off, apparently. Gotta love it when that happens. Alright. And just so you guys are aware, I do patron other channels out there. I just spent, as I was putting the stuff together, I just spent the last, I don't know, hour and a half or so listening to a live stream of Chapter Master Valrak. I mean, there wasn't anything really of substance at the moment, but or at the time, but you know, you're just hanging out and hobbying, you know. Let's see here. Put these over here. Let's see, where is my clippers? Where are my clippers? Right here. All right. little dab in there once you got it on, just to solidify the top. And I've got, actually I used this guy for las cannon and that guy. Alright, so I'm gonna keep that consistent, so those will stay with the las cannon guys. And then we'll just put the heads on these guys here, this black one and the gray one. And something I did, I don't know if you really care or not, but this particular head right here was painted with some black primer, man, back in 2012, if that tells you anything, how long I've had this stuff. And anyway, I took the rotating brush to it so I could try to make sure I got off, you know, if there was any, you know, extra stuff, you know, from the paint, because it was just rattle can or spray paint. It wasn't airbrush or anything like that, and there was. So I'm actually happy that I thought about that, and I'm gonna, you know, for the stuff that I've got, you know, prime like this, I'm gonna go back and do all of that when it's time, or as I use those parts, you know, to outfit what I have. So something to think about, you know, if you happen to buy one of these Dremel tools or whatever and you think you might have messed something up, or you get some kind of overspray or something like that where you get these I don't know, you get these like little bumps or whatever on your plastic. Usually it's from a temperature differential or whatever, but yeah, just, you know, if you get something like this, I mean, you don't have to worry about using, like, you know, sandpaper or anything like that to, you know, to mess up your model at all. You can just brush it off, essentially. Maybe a toothbrush, you know, would work, or something like that. Old toothbrush. Or maybe a vibrating toothbrush. Maybe one of those toothbrushes that spins. There's all kinds of, you know, ways you could do that, possibly without necessarily using a Dremel if you didn't have one or didn't want to buy one. Alright, so the last thing we gotta do for this guy is put a whoops, that's right, I wanted to barely put that on. Keep forgetting about that. And so just gonna put this shoulder pad on, and then he is done. There we go. Put that up there. But I really like the Iron Priest model so much that I could foresee me using him most of the time as my commander. Not necessarily as an Iron Priest, just the model itself. I really like it. I always have. I am assuming right now that I'm planning on painting these guys as the actual Space Wolves color or army scheme. Although I have been toying around in my head something else, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do, I don't know, maybe we'll do something another time later. Not sure about that yet. Trying to get this head lined up, and I gotta tilt it back. Every time I tilt it back, it wants to turn on me. There we go. Alright. So there's those two guys are done. Let's see if we can work with this guy over here without breaking everything apart. Okay, slide that in there. Doesn't look too bad. Nope, I didn't want to stay. There we go. Just get it to glue to itself. that sit for a second. Let's go back to this, see if we can fit that in there as well. We'll just try to be extra gentle and hope that, you know, it doesn't break apart. Let's see here. Come on. You can do it. I have faith in you. The key is getting, or the issue here is trying to get the shoulder to actually go into the shoulder pad. That's the issue. Otherwise you have a gap. I mean, you're still gonna have a gap, but it's a bigger gap than I want to have. So that right there is not gonna cut it for me. So what I'm gonna have to do is bend this out some. Hope I don't rip it off with my fingers because there's glue on there. I'm not sure why getting it in there is affecting the front of this gun. That's really annoying, honestly. Okay, that looks about right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I trim off a little of this extra glue here, so we don't get too much buildup, because I'm about to glue it again right in that spot, and then we can just put that back on once this is joined. There we go. And I mean, no, and I mean, you may think, you know, why didn't you just do that first? And it just, you know, there's no one set way of doing this. I can tell you that from experience. You think you got it down, and it just does not seem to work out that way. Alright, so while we're waiting on that, put these over here. I've got this other one that needs to go into something. I had a bag. Oh, there's it. I was gonna say I have a bag here. Space Wolf parts. And there are a ton of other Space Wolf things. You know, like I said, I've got at least. Well, I've got other heavy weapons and stuff, but I'm not going to use those for these guys. And if I decide that I'm going to, I'm probably just going to make another Space Marine and do it that way, rather than try to necessarily magnetize these, because it's not really how I want this army to be. And again, I'm not necessarily playing competitively or anything like that. So let's move this out of the way. Get our glue. Move that. Need the tweezers. I figured you guys might like to see that. So this is what we've got for the tactical squads, or whatever, gray hunters, or whatever we're going to call them. That being said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For some reason I have 8 drop pods here. Wait a minute. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8 here. I really only need 7 because it was supposed to be for each tactical squad. But we'll see what we want to do with that. But I'm not going to open this one just yet because I don't want to deal with all the sprue for, well, yeah, well, I know how I want to do this. I want to batch build like we normally do, so. Maybe we can use the box for something. In the meantime, put this box over here. We're going to get out what we need, put the rest somewhere else. Put that up there for a second. Space wolves, space wolves. And the rest of this is drop pods. And we got the right size bases, so that's good. And we'll put this back. One thing I haven't done that I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to figure out how I want to break these guys down. So I need to get into my codex and look at that before I actually start building anything. Okay, let's sit this over here, sit that over there. Let's get these over here. These look pretty similar to the Longfangs one, except for I got a couple of the same banner poles and things like that, and capes and stuff. Yeah, it's basically the exact same thing, except for the heavy weapons. So I already know where everything is, so that's good. But that also tells me that more than likely I'm gonna have to have extra helmets. Let me check this one real quick. Let's see here. We got 1, 2, 3. That's not right. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're gonna need 7 extra helmets, and we already have those on standby right here. No problem. So we'll be good to go. And assuming that all of these boxes are the same as those, which I imagine, well, I guess they are not the same. Well, at least the bases aren't. Let's see. Everything else looks the same. Yep, everything else is the same. It's just not the bases, and the decal sheet is different, apparently. Gave me a smaller sheet, I guess. Okay. One thing I don't see often when I'm looking or watching other videos of other YouTubers is I don't really see a lot of construction or the prep work. Maybe because it's boring, I don't know, to some people, but this is all part of my journey, so that's what we're doing. This will work out to 70, should be 70 Space Wolves, Infantry. Should be. They appear to look like your standard tactical squad in a way. They've got a plasma rifle. Of course, these are outfitted like Blood Claws, the ones I'm looking at right now, the younger guys, but that's not what I'm gonna do. They've got the hammer, and since that seems to be the theme for my army, we're gonna stick with that, with the hammer for all of our sergeants. And I think what we're going to end up doing, well, we need to do some checking, because again, I have not looked at this stuff in so long, and part of the process is, you know, how do you want your army to fight? And with all of the options that this army has available to it, you know, kind of have to pay attention to that. So over here. Put this stuff where it goes before we get started here. Need those. I also won't be I will not be putting any I won't be basing anything right now. It'll be just like with the Templars, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, all that. There's no need for me to do that at the moment because I'm not even sure what I want to do. Right now, I want to get these bad boys assembled and then put in the case and get the rest of it done, and then move on to the next army. Now you may be asking yourself, what am I going to do with all these bases that, you know, can't be used for the Space Marines anymore? And I think I've said this before, but who knows? You got everything from, you know, goblins and smaller type things like scouts or whatever, to even, if I really wanted to, since I have so many, blips for Space Hulk and stuff like that, I could attach them to the bases, and then we're not screwing it up, messing around with it all the time. And that's probably the extent of this bag's ability of volume. Alright. And then we have to pull from this one. So throw that away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, cool. So we've got that. Set that over there for now. Move my drinking mouse out of the way. Slide these over. And we need 60 more. You know what? I'm just gonna sit it right over here and we'll grab it as we need it because I got a lot going on here at the moment, as you can tell. I'll set these over here. And the first step is cutting all the legs off. As soon as I find my clippers. There they are. And these will end up being all the sergeants, or whatever. And the only decision making that I really have to do is when it comes to, you know, what arms we're putting on. Because, I mean, we already know heads, backpacks, all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. But when it comes to the arms, that's where the decisions are going to come into play. Are they going to be blood claws? Are they going to be wolf pack? Are they going to be both? I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be magnetizing these guys in that regard. But I mean, do I want to split it up? You know, half blood claws, half, you know, wolf pack. I don't know yet. I kind of like having bolters, you know, versus bolt pistols, but we need to check out their strengths, you know, and see what the you know, with the way that I want to play. In my mind, you know, for the most part, they all, you know, Space Wolves seem to me to be really aggressive, wanting to get in the fight, but they're also not stupid, so we will see. And actually, I just realized, since they were giving me 2 in each one, I'll have to sort through this again. One thing that slows you down a lot is characters, man. It really does. You know, when you want to do things to them and the basing and stuff like that, but it's all worth it in the end. If you take the time and do it right, I'll put it that way. All right, so what do we got here? 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So I know we got 7 there, and then these were essentially the extra in a way. So I'm gonna keep these over here for my sergeants. And like I said, the great thing, or well, the neat thing about what I'm doing right now is I've already gone through this particular sprue with the long fang, so I know where everything is. I don't have to go looking for it, so that will speed this process up exponentially as well. So I already know what we're dealing with. Wish I had another box here. That'll work. I need to take some time and clean up all the sprues again and put them in the boxes that I'm saving sprues in, because I've got big plans for those sprues. Everything from making walls to rubble to building, stuff from scratch. Like I'm going to build an Orc Gargant. That's going to happen, and I'm going to use all these sprues to help me, and it's going to be awesome. That thing's going to be stupid large. Also found out today, much to my dismay, see I'm rhyming, that there was a Bandai Space Marine, they made Bandai Space Marine Intercessor Marines action figures that were 8 inches tall. Only, I think it was last year, you put it on pre-order or something like that, and then that was it. Once it closed, that was it, and I never even knew about it. So now, can you guess how much they're going for on eBay? Probably not. I mean, I don't even know what they sold for. I'm imagining they were probably 40, 50 bucks, something like that, I would imagine. Now they're $300 and something right now on eBay. Ridiculous. So I'm sure a bunch of guys bought a bunch just so they could turn around and do exactly that. And it really stinks too, because they actually made a salamander one. I mean, they're all painted and everything, but they had a White Scars, Salamander, Imperial Fist, and I think that's it. But again, I just found out about it today. So, but I'm sorry, eBay. I don't want it that bad for $300 something. If I was gonna do that, I'd put it into getting a new computer or something from Forge World. No, that's just ridiculous. Besides, I mean, I got this, this bad boy right here. I was able to get him this McFarlane one. I've got some others on the way that you can get one of these right now at GameStop for like 20 or 30 bucks on pre-order, and it'll be released in April. So I encourage you to go over there and look for it if you want one. And they have a Sister of Battle. They've got I'm trying to think what else there is. It might be it, but I've got one of each of those coming. And the ones that I bought are these gray ones so that you can paint it however you want to. I mean, that's, and that's what I intend to do. Of course, this guy will end up being a salamander, no doubt, but that's okay. He's going to be all tricked out. And he won't be just painted. I'm going to do some other stuff to him, make a Drake cloak and everything for him. So he'll be legit. Yep, finally getting to the bulk of the infantry. And like I said, the greatest thing is that we've already been through this sprue, so we know where everything is. We don't have to waste time with instructions. You already have the plan. Just gotta cut them out, trim them up, put them on bases, and move on. That simple. Same thing will happen with the Land Raider and the all those drop pods that'll be in this army. But I am going to tell you the Stormfang Gunship. I have no idea how to put that thing together yet. I have not put one together. I've seen one once. Hopefully it's not a real pain. But I'm sure you guys will have the same patience you're having with me with all these armies, so I'm not worried about it. Hey brother, how you doing, man? Mick? Old Mick Dundee. That's back when movies were good. That's not a knife. This is a knife. We got all our Terminators done, Mick. We got both Longfang. Well, I'm sorry, we're about to finish up our Longfang squads here. We just got 2 other guys. We're just waiting on some stuff to dry. Put together my Iron Priest, who is just absolutely amazing. I really like this model a lot. I can't even tell you how much I like this model. Hold on. And then, of course, I like what I did with the rock outcropping as well. But yeah, I'm really digging it. He's probably, like I was saying in the beginning, he's probably going to be my go-to anytime I'm playing this army, unless I'm playing something really big as my warlord. I mean, not necessarily again to have a, you know, a tech marine or an Iron Priest. I just really like the model. Yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in. There we go, man. 70 legs. Awesome. All right. And these are our sergeants over here, so let's get the old sanding block out. Right on. What do you got left to do on those Outriders? Something I wanted to ask you guys is if I'm able to, well, if I'm streaming Dawn of War 1 while I'm, you know, playing it, would you guys be interested while you're sitting there working on your models and stuff to you know, be like, basically you get to make the call, you know, what it is that I do, what I build next, where I go, that kind of stuff. That way you're involved in the game as well, even though you're not technically playing it. Or if I'm able to put together battle reports or whatever, where you guys, you know, I've got, you know, 2 armies there, and, you know, I play one and you guys play the other. well, I only have 3, but they're still in the box. I don't know when I'm gonna ever get to them. They'll probably be one of the last things I do. Any of my Primaris, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, I say that, but I mean, I'm gonna put together the whole Death Company army, so, or Death Guard. So who knows? But I mean, does that sound like something you guys might be interested in? Welcome, whoever's viewing that just showed up. Introduce yourself. We're working on the entire Space Wolves army here. We've got 70 either wolf pack or blood claws that we're putting together at the moment. No idea what they're going to be yet. He said an entire army. Screw that, I'm out of here. It's going to take forever. And here I thought for a moment this army was going to be smaller or small. Clearly I was mistaken. Yep. By the time I get through with all these armies that have all these details and whiz-bang widgets hanging off of them and everything else, and I get to normal Space Marines, I'm going to be bored. Even the Death Watch are going to be boring compared, you know, comparatively. I really do kind of wish I could have got on that train for that action, the Space Marine action figures, but I had no idea. There was some talk in the stream I was listening to about GW kind of having their own for lack of a better phrase, Netflix or whatever. I could see it happening. I don't know what they would, I mean, they'd have to do something, you know, longer than 12, 16-minute deals, you know, or even it'd have to be at least half-hour episodes, I would think, you know, something similar to what you do for little kids, you know, kid shows. For some, you know, and there'd have to be like, you know, content constantly going to justify what I believe they would do, which is a monthly subscription. And there probably, in my mind, would have to be some kind of incentive, like, you know, maybe open up the entire app or the, you know, to the Warhammer app, so that you're not having to pay for all the codexes online, at least, you know, something like that, you know, that, you know, if they're getting that money, you know, every month. But I don't know. I mean, you know how GW can be, and it's all about the shareholders, so they're not going to care one way or the other. My understanding is the stock price is about 150 or so right now per share, which I don't remember this off. I mean what year it was, but I remember when it was 700 and something, and I think that was before they went public, but I'm not sure. Well, actually, it would have been in the late 90s that I looked that up, because I thought about, you know, getting stock, since that's what I was, you know, so engrossed in. I'm like, well, hell, if I'm spending my money here and I'm gonna enjoy this hobby, maybe I can get into it, you know. You guys just wait until I put the Tyranid army together. That's gonna be insane. Wait till it comes time to paint it. Between the Orcs and the Tyranids, those are gonna be the two biggest armies that I have, I think. And I can't even tell you right now how many Tyranids that I have. I have no idea. It's some crazy number. And I actually thought about getting my old Tyranid army from way back when, back from my mother, who has it, who thought it was something she might want to get into. It didn't happen, and that army sees no play, so, but it's completely painted. It's not like, you know, elaborate or anything. It's you know, battle ready, you know, game stand, or, you know, tabletop standard, if you will. Mostly brown, black, and orange, I believe, or something like that. But it sure does look good when it's all together, that's for sure. And of course, they're the older models, you know, most of them. Definitely the Hormagaunts, they're older. That might be why I gave them to her. I don't know. Yeah, the Termagants too, because they've got the curled tail. That's right. And the old Carnifex, you know, with the big gripper claws. I still have one of those floating around somewhere, just because it was like one of the first models I ever did. And what I did with the head of it to give it kind of a organic look was I took gloss nail polish and painted it on there to give it a shiny, you know, look, while everything else was, you know, matte, almost like, you know, it was moist or whatever, you know, like shoot me here kind of thing. But it was a pretty nice model. It's somewhere, I just don't know where it is right now. Probably sitting in a box somewhere. I'm also looking forward to getting, like I think I've said this before, getting back into building terrain, but I want to get into my Warzone models. I don't have any of like all the different factions. I never cared about that part of the game. What I cared about was that you could get 80 models in a box, and you know, they pretty much, they all look like trenchers, you know, from trench warfare and stuff like that. So, and you know, slightly different. One side almost looks, you know, Allied, and the other one almost looks, you know, Axis, if you will, just more in a sci-fi setting. And I mean, they're great models. And what's really great about it is putting on a match days starting next week. Putting on match days. That's awesome, man. I hope you're gonna go play. Or maybe you're in a rush to get your stuff done so you can go play. You gotta record that, man. Every week we're hosting 2 match plays days here at Warhammer Melbourne. Book a time to come in and play a 1,000-point game of either Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000. Nice. That's nice. And they're not huge games, obviously, so they can get more people in. I wonder what the waiting list is already like. How did you find out? Are you on some kind of Facebook group or Discord or something? Bring your army along and we'll organize a table, space, and terrain for you to use. Match play days are on Tuesday and Friday. Use the events to organize games. I remember, and I've only been in one, Facebook. You got the link to it? Post that in the chat. I've only been to one Warhammer bunker ever in my life, and that was in California, and I'd only been there one time. Unfortunately, I was the only one standing in there, and there was no one to play with, so and the guy that was running the place couldn't play with me because he had to man the counter, but not that anybody was walking in, mind you. But shortly after that, I think maybe 4 or 5 months later, they stopped doing all of those bunkers. Like they just, I don't know, they just became the smaller stores, if you will. And so that was kind of, you know, that kind of sucked. I almost worked for Games Workshop at one point. I didn't know if I was going to stay in the military, and I was like, well, why don't I try to do something I love doing? So I gave them a call, and, you know, they said, well, send us your resume. So I did. And after they looked at it, they were like, you know, we'd like to move you to Texas, and you could be, to be a manager. And I was like, I don't know about that. So, and from the horror stories that I've heard on videos on YouTube of guys that have worked for them, I'm kind of glad I never did that. That was back in, let's see, what was that? That was 2000 or 2001, maybe 2001. It's a lot of legs, ain't it? Yeah, Mick, post that if you can find it. Post that link. I'd love to see. I mean, obviously I'm not in Australia, but who cares? I mean, I still love to read it and see it. Maybe they'll post pictures and stuff and look at it and, you know, see how you guys did or whatever. Magnifiers. Turning up to see when I'm paying. Oh, you went for those glasses, I think, right? Heck yeah, man, go and watch. I mean, worst case, you'll learn something. You'll see how other people are doing it. Might get some ideas for your paint scheme if somebody's got something close to yours, or if they're using a black, you know, ask them how they did something you liked on that black. Heck yeah. We don't have anything like that around here, but closest I've got, and I don't even know if the store is open, is down in about an hour from me, and then the other one's in that. Well, I guess the two of them are an hour away from me in either direction, and they're just brick and mortar shops. One of them's got a lot of game tables, or at least did last time I was there. It's been over a year though. I'm not, like I said, I'm not even sure they're still in existence, but might be, you know, worth it to check out. I know they were moving or something, but then the other one was, it was downtown, you know, like in a more city type environment, and the store was so packed with stuff. I mean, all they had was one table that, you know, you could really just sit around and, you know, play a role-playing game with, and that was about it. So alright, so we've got all the legs where we can at least put them on bases. Let me go ahead and finish these long fangs though, so I can get them out of my way. Okay. So I'm trying to line his eye up with the scope in a way. It won't be perfect because, I mean, it just does, the model's not that way, but okay. One useful trick for Space Marines, if you're trying to glue it the way I am and you don't want to get glue all over the details, is if you put it on the back panel of their head, you know, where it's right here and it goes down, you can put the glue right there, drip it, you know, let it run down, and then it'll glue it pretty solid for you, if you didn't know that. on, something happened apparently. 1 second. I see that we've lost our camera, and I'm not sure why. Let's see. I think I know what happened. No, it's not that. No, I don't have, it's not a battery issue. It's a network issue. Appears to be. Which, in a way, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me see what happened here. Oh, we're still good. You gotta be kidding me. It's crazy. Ports right, IP's right. Something happened. Now I've got almost full battery. I don't know what the heck's going on here. This should not be happening right now, unless YouTube's doing something stupid, which wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I don't know.